Okay, so for the lomein sauce, or it's kind of a sauce slash cornstarch slurry, I'm going to mix it all together. I'm going to start with a half cup of low sodium chicken broth. Whoops, I got flour on that. And to that, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of dark soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of low sodium soy sauce. Here I have 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce. And if you don't like oyster sauce, I had some people in my chicken chow mein recipe video and they said they're just not a fan of oyster sauce. Well, you can skip it and just add an extra teaspoon of sugar. It'll probably work. Speaking of sugar, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of sugar. Give that a mix. A tablespoon and a half of cornstarch. I'm going to mix that well. By the way, before I forget, I am going to add just a tad bit of Shaoxing cooking wine. Maybe 1 or 2 teaspoons to this. Yeah, that'll work. That is optional because I understand if people don't have that or don't want to add cooking wine, but it really does give it that nice stir-fried Chinese restaurant taste. Okay, this is it. Okay, so before I start cooking, I want to go over the vegetables that I'm using today. By the way, this actually changes according to or depending on what I have in my fridge. So today I am using half of a very small yellow onion that I had, 1 medium carrot, I julienned that. Here I have half of a red bell pepper that I just sliced, and I have a quarter of a small cabbage that I had in the refrigerator. Actually, it was just a small piece of cabbage, and I just thinly sliced it, just like that. I also wanted to add some shiitake mushrooms. These were actually dried mushrooms, and I just boiled them for about 5 minutes and then shut off the heat, let them steep for another 15 to 20, rinse them and pressed out the moisture, and that's what I have. You don't have to do that. You could use fresh mushrooms or just exclude it. Again, the vegetables in this are up to you. And I will be using 2 scallions. These are the greens of the scallion. I'll finish the dish off with this, but I also have the whites. I also have 2 teaspoons of garlic paste, 1 teaspoon of ginger paste with the whites. That'll start off the stir fry. So yeah, that's what I'm using today. Here I have my water boiling, and what I'm going to do is add some salt to there. There we go. And I'm going to be boiling about 9 ounces of egg noodles. I made these from scratch. These are homemade. I will link the recipe video for this, or you could just use store-bought egg noodles. And I cut these sort of wider than probably lo mein noodles, but that's just kind of, they're just hand cut, they're not all the same size, but I did the best I could. Okay, so I'm going to add my noodles to the boiling water. And I'm going to boil this for about 2 to 3 minutes. Once it starts to come back up to a boil, it'll be 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so this is done. I'm going to remove this from my wok as carefully as possible and place it right into this strainer with the bowl. Okay, so what I did off camera was rinse these in cold water, and that's to stop the cooking process. I don't want these overcooked, so I'm going to let these hang out until I'm ready to start the stir fry, and that'll be shortly. I'm going to get going on the other stuff. Okay, so I have my wok cleaned out and preheated, and it's almost at that smoke point. Yeah, I see the smoke, wisp of smoke. So I'm going to add some oil, and things are going to go fast. My whites of my onion, my garlic and ginger. Now my vegetables. Going to give this a good stir fry. And before I forget, my mushrooms. These are the shiitake mushrooms that they were dried and I pre-soaked them and rid of the moisture. And like I said earlier, use any vegetable that you like. Sometimes I like to use snow peas or sugar snap peas. That goes great in this. Okay, now I'm going to go in with my sauce. Give that a mix before I do that. And actually I am going to add just a little more oil. There we go. Now you're going to mix that and it should start to thicken. Okay, so now I'm going to add my egg noodles and give everything a mix and a toss. Oh yeah. This is going to be great. Okay, so now add in your the green part of the scallion. That was 2 scallions that I chopped. Mix that in. So now I'm going to finish this off with a drizzle of sesame oil. And that is it. This is lomein my way at home. And I'll tell you what, my family is excited to eat this. I'm going to be serving this alongside some baked chicken thighs. And if you want a recipe for chicken lo mein, or you want to know how to make the chicken, I will link my chicken chow mein, which is pretty similar to this, with the exception that I'm using chow mein noodles. And I do fry it a little bit more with more oil, but for the most part, the way I prepare the chicken would be the same way I would prepare it for this. So here are my lo mein, my vegetable lo mein, and here's the chicken that's going to go along with it. My husband and my son are going to enjoy this. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.